We have volume. I can't see a thing till I get this turned on.
Hello everybody, how are you today? I'm doing good. Sweaty and dirty.
You were outside working hard.
And then one time just got away from us and we were going to take you outside and then started to sprinkle.
Yeah, we were going to pick blackberries with you guys. And then I thought, you know what? Instead of picking blackberries, we could can the blackberries that need to be canned, but we didn't have time to get all that stuff set up. So perhaps another time.
So now it's just you, me, and the screen.
Yeah.
Again.
Oh, you know what? Let's make sure that the mic is like close enough.
Is it on?
It is. It is on, but we should make sure that people can hear us.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
I'm trying to pull this up on my other phone here. Sorry, guys. Bear with us. Technical difficulties. Talk to them.
Well,
even if they can't hear you.
I'll tell you what I did today. I was out there transplanting some peanuts.
Peanuts.
Not small peanuts. We planted peanuts last year and we saved them back, and then we planted them again. And
little known fact is that you can plant peanuts in Ohio.
Well, you can, but they need a really long growing season, so we had to start them indoors.
I'm just saying that you can.
Not like you can farm them here.
Yeah.
You know.
That's why we don't have peanut farms here in Ohio.
Right. Speaking of farms. This is terrible news, but I'm going to bring it to you anyways.
You're going to do that right now? That's really depressing.
Well, I thought I'd start with farming.
Yeah.
You know, I
don't
news.
We have to
that...
tell it. Here we are.
I don't think we have to... I don't think it's really depressing. I think it's more...
infuriating.
It will get us... You need to be able
sideways.
to...
I'm going to have to go fix it.
Oh,
can you? So you guys can hear us, right?
The camera's doing sideways?
Well, it's just tilted. It'll bother me. See it?
Oh.
They can see it.
Hey, so everybody can hear us. Okay, so you guys remember us talking about this the Amish man who was selling the herbal salves and things like that. Well, he was facing like 56 years of prison.
I'm gonna raise this up a
They
little.
gave him 6 years. He went to trial. It's horrible. Representative Thomas Massey actually shared this. I'm hoping he can do something about it. You know, we could write our congressman, we could write Donald Trump, we could ask Donald Trump to pardon him. I think that would be awesome. So I don't think this is the end. We should still hope for the guy.
So I think you should be more loud, just so, because this obviously it's not close enough. So you're gonna have to do your loud, Leah, so that it's loud enough. And let's make sure that they can still hear the.
Sam Girod, and we all know Sam Girod and his family.
Oh, I wonder if they can't hear it.
An apology, and from the bottom of my heart to all the Girods.
Can you hear the TV?
On behalf of the United States of America, we the people.
Yes.
I apologize to you from the bottom of my heart. This should not be happening to your father and your brother and your son and your grandfather. God bless Sam Girod.
Sam Girod is an Amish man who makes natural products that people use, and some have some medicinal benefits that he has discovered, and his customers agree. His customers have found the same thing and use his products for their benefit, and that has angered federal officials, and so they have swooped in and done, you know, as they have the power to do. They've thrown him in jail. In the larger sense, we are brothers. You know, all we want to do is be free in America, to do as we choose when we're not harming anyone. You know, if there were actual victims in this case, then certainly federal intervention would make sense.
I want you to read the ingredients. Rosemary,
beeswax,
olive oil,
peppermint,
chickweed,
eucalyptus,
lavender,
comfrey.
And that is
he's
why
being put in jail for 65.
No. 6 years.
6 years. Oh, good. They lessened it.
But still 6 years.
But I know that's still really bad. But they kept saying it was going to be upwards of 65 years.
Yeah, well,
6 years is still unacceptable.
Do you know, like, rapists and child molesters get less time? Terrorists get less time in prison.
Yes.
But there are no victims. There's
no
only
victims.
benefits.
And
There's
that's
only
the thing that
Nobody complained.
Exactly.
Nobody was harmed.
Right.
There's no victims. There's no drugs.
You can't put somebody in jail when there's not a victim.
And there's no crime.
mutual benefit in this case, and so interrupting that free exchange of ideas, of information, and products and services, and throwing someone in jail and making him pay huge fines is just absurd.
Absurd.
So I'm going to read to you a little bit more of the details on this. An Amish man was sentenced Friday, this was last Friday, to 6 years in prison for obstructing a federal agency and for making and selling herbal health products that were not adequately labeled as required by federal law. Sam Girod of Bath County, a member of the Old Order Amish faith, you want to take her outside? Or put her upstairs?
Oh, we didn't do dinner yet. Keep talking.
Was convicted in March on 13 charges, including threatening a person in an attempt to stop him from providing information to a grand jury. U.S. District Judge Danny Reeves repeatedly asked Girod in court if he wished to make a statement, but Girod refused. Girod, who represented himself, does not acknowledge that the court has jurisdiction. I do not waive my immunity to this court, Girod told the judge. I do not consent. Girod has become a cause for some who see him as a victim of the federal government. More than 27,000 people have signed an online petition seeking to have him released from jail. About 75 supporters of Girod, including many Amish, gathered near the federal courthouse on Barr Street in downtown Lexington before and after the sentencing. We still have a country where people still come together to help each other, said Emmanuel Shabalak, 27, an Amish man from Logan County. As assistant U.S. attorneys left the courthouse after the sentencing, Girod's supporters jeered them. "Shame on you," shouted one supporter. One non-Amish supporter, Richard Mack of Arizona, said after the sentencing that this is a national disgrace and an outrage. He is being punished for being stubborn. Mack, a former Arizona sheriff and political activist, said he and others will ask President Donald Trump to issue a pardon for Girod. I think I might write my own little letter. Mack said...
I'm writing Trump, and y'all should too.
To him too.
Yeah.
Mack said he has used Girod's chickweed salve with no ill effect. Girod operated a business in Bath County that made products to be used for skin disorders, sinus infections, and cancer. One product called Two More Gone contained an extract of bloodroot that had a caustic corrosive effect on human skin. According to an indictment, however, no one was injured. No one ever said it had a caustic corrosive effect, right? A federal court in Missouri had barred Girod from distributing the products until he met certain conditions, including letting the U.S. Food and Drug Administration inspect his business. But when two agents tried to inspect the plant in November 2013, Girod and others blocked them and made them leave, the indictment charged. Federal prosecutors said in a sentencing memorandum that Girod knowingly and intentionally sold misbranded products to customers and did not tell any of them about the injunction. At trial, customers testified that they would not have purchased his products if they had known about the injunction. Girod argued that his products weren't subject to federal... They went looking for a few people, right? They always do. Subject to Federal Drug Administration oversight because they were herbal remedies, not drugs. He also argued that requiring FDA approval of his products infringed on his religious freedom. Old Order Amish seek to insulate themselves from the modern world, including modern pharmaceuticals, he said. Federal jurors rejected Girod's defense, convicting him of conspiring to impede federal officers, and obstructing a proceeding before a federal agency, failing to register with the FDA as required, tampering with a witness, failing to appear before a hearing, and distributing misbranded drugs. It sounds like such a criminal. In the matter of the Two More Gone, the jury decided that the product label didn't have adequate warnings against its use in cases when it would be dangerous, and that it would endanger health when used in the dose and manner suggested on the package. So what I'm thinking is this is more along the lines of when you put things for like children, like don't put the children in the plastic bag.
Yeah, don't put a bag on there. Have you guys have all seen those? They're not even memes. They're real. Parents that take pictures of different child products of the warning labels, and you think to yourself, there is no way that ever needed to be necessary, that anyone would ever do that with their child.
I mean, you could put a smoke bomb in your hand and it would have a caustic effect. Does it have... I'm sure that they are required to have warnings. Do not let off in your hand. Do not... These are idiot warnings.
Right.
You know, we can't protect people from being idiots, seriously. In documents filed June 19th, Girod argued that the charges in the indictment do not apply to me. I am not a creation of state government. As such, I am not within its jurisdiction, Girod wrote. He added later, the proceedings of the United States District Court cannot be applied within the jurisdiction of the state of Kentucky. Girard's supporters outside the courthouse said his case is an example of overreach by the federal government. They purposefully seek these people out. They
to make an example of them.
Out people who have herbal remedies and things like that. Things that have been remedies for, we don't know for how long.
The beginning of time.
But I'm sure these Amish people have been using this remedy for hundreds of years.
Yeah.
And they've been using it for probably the same, for tumor gone or taking skin cancer off.
Because
and
they're not going to always go and seek out doctors. Most
Right.
of the time, they're going to try to take care of the problem themselves. And so they have found things that work for them, such as our Amish swear by cod liver oil for their teeth. And guess what? It really does work. It's just nasty. It is not good stuff, and I don't want to take it.
The lemon tastes good, actually. You didn't try the lemon.
I didn't. I'm not brave.
Okay. He said, I don't need the FDA to protect me from an Amish farmer, read a sign held by T.J. Roberts, a Transylvania University student from Boone County. I feel what happened here is an example of judges making the law, Roberts said. What the FDA did here is an example of executive overreach in which they are choosing what Americans can put in or are on their own bodies. I struggle to find where the victim is in this and where the crime was committed, but Judge Reeves said Girod brought the trouble on himself because he steadfastly refused to follow the law. To Girod, Reeves said, you refuse to follow anyone but yourself. And then I'm going to play this spokesperson for defending. This is Reverend Alan Hoyle, a spokesperson for a group of Amish people from Bath County.
We're at the capital of Kentucky, so we're here to redress our grievances according to the Declaration of Independence. We're here because a family man, an Amish man who has been jailed with going against the Constitution. He has no bond. He's been declared that he's guilty for growing natural herbs that's of health benefits, and this make sure we're not talking about marijuana, but
just
it's
regular
used for
old-fashioned
salve and all
herbs.
this, where the federal government has come in, U.S. Marshals with machine guns against the family members, against young children who are terrorized. They're having nightmares and things of that nature. And I'm a veteran of the United States Marine Corps of 23 years, and I swore an oath to defend the Constitution, which represents the people, against all domestic enemies. And our government now has become a domestic enemy to the people when they can come in and terrorize women and children, arrest people with no authority, no jurisdiction, and without the right to do so when they have not a violent criminal.
When they're not a violent criminal. And, whether you agree with how the Amish man handled this or not, we had somebody on our YouTube say that they knew the family and that Girod wanted to handle it himself. He didn't want to get an attorney.
And I don't think he
wanted
did he,
to represent himself. And I can understand that he was trying to go before God, and he knew that under God he hadn't done anything wrong. He hadn't broken any laws. He hadn't broken any laws of God or nature's God, that's for sure. And so he decided to represent himself, and he's Amish. And you have to realize the Amish, they think differently. That's why they set themselves apart.
Right.
And they follow the law, right, to the best of their abilities. And, this is one of those cases where you see the total mindset of our government and how messed up it is, because
I'm going to try this. El Chavez says that she's having a little bit of trouble. If I lower this, perhaps it'll get it a little bit closer.
That's interesting.
Let's try that.
So, anyways, this is, 6 years, you guys. Seriously, I would think probation, maybe, or a slap on the wrist or something.
Right.
Something along the lines. I just know, child molesters get less time than that.
Here's the thing.
The punishment is not even worthy to the crime when there is no crime.
We need to address why this is happening, because I think that a lot of, why would the federal government do this? What's the purpose behind it? it all goes back to the big lobbyists. We have to realize that big pharma is our enemy, okay? The medical industry, by and large, is our enemy. Why? Because they are in cahoots with people like Monsanto, processed foods, fluoride in the water, all of these things to make us sick, to keep us dependent upon them. And if you can find a natural remedy outside of what they can make money on, they will shut you down. I know it sounds like a bad movie. I know it sounds implausible, but it is 100% true.
And there's more to this case because it escalated. He had a label that it would heal cancer, and then he was told to change the name, so he changed it to Two More Gone.
Right.
And then he changed it again, and he was told he couldn't put the pamphlets describing what it did near it.
Right.
So in one store, he put pamphlets on the other side of the store, and he sold the salve on one side of the store, so people had to go get the pamphlet. Right. And it if you have something that works for... And here's the thing, and this kind of goes back to the vitamin C thing with cancer. When you say the word cancer,
yep,
you're not allowed to say that you have a cure or something that helps it,
right?
Unless it has gone through the rigors of the FDA and the CDC and all kinds of craziness and all the natural remedies that could work to stem small skin cancers,
right,
or... Because that's what this is obviously
right
for.
Here's the thing, and you guys probably already know this, but in case we have some viewers that do not, there are things that we can do in our diet by buying organic grass-fed beef and chicken and pork, by eating no processed foods, non-GMOs, organics, get the fluoride out of your water. All of these things can help prevent cancer, okay? Because everything the opposite of that is causing cancer. So if they really wanted people to not get cancer, that would be blasted and preached everywhere. We all remember the food pyramid that is always kind of constantly
and they tell
updated.
You to eat like 9 to 12 grains a day or something like that.
And the grains are all Monsanto filled, right? With GMOs and Roundup and things that cause cancer. It is a known fact that by eating the way I just described, you can pretty much stem off cancer. Some people are going to have it genetically, but a lot of people don't have a genetic disposition for cancer. It's just from diet.
Well, and not even just diet. It's from chemicals and the things that we put on, products that we put on.
Yes, okay, I'm sorry. I should have expounded, of course. Yeah. Go ahead, continue.
Well, I mean, microwave and things.
The CDL or CD, what are the light bulbs called? CFLs? The CFL light bulbs. When we were at the Red Pill Expo, they did an excellent speech on the smart meter out on the side of your house. Did we film that?
I think so.
Dang, I hope
then
if we
the
didn't.
Airplanes getting not just going through the X-ray machines, but been on the airplanes. There's radiation, and it's been proven that people who fly more are more predisposed to have cancers. And so, if they really cared about people and cancer,
they would help you understand all of these things and realize that, listen, these are the risks that you're taking. But it is
birth control.
Shut up.
Preconceives you. Birth control is connected to breast cancer.
Yep.
And that would make sense for estrogen reasons and hormonal changes in you.
Exactly.
Causing certain tumors and stuff to grow. Mm-hmm. So pretty much everybody who has breast cancer has been on some sort of hormonal birth control. So so these are things.
Point is, the fact that they're not giving you these simple solutions proves the fact.
Well, if they told everybody to get off birth control, it would just,
Yeah, well, they can't do that because we have Agenda 21. We got to depopulate the entire world.
So instead, they have to put fear in you somehow. So they say raw milk is bad for you.
Right.
You must be vaccinated.
Things like raw milk and raw butter, especially grass-fed butter and grass-fed raw milk, actually will help you cure cancer.
People who write natural health books have to be really careful. If they say anything that the cure, especially around cancer.
Right.
That's the big thing for people.
Well, and that's why if you guys didn't see the video that I made the other day, it was when we were going live last week. that we had been talking about this sort of thing, and Horatio just wanted to make sure that nobody was going to go and do like the vitamin C treatment without seeking further advice and things like that. So I kind of...
Or make that your only thing and then you
Right.
just die.
You guys have to do your own research. I promised him that I would throw that in there. You have to do your own research, but it starts by just that kind of red pill of, whoa, wait a minute, we're kind of going about this all the wrong way.
Okay, yeah. So we could talk about this forever, but I'm going to write a little letter to Donald Trump, and maybe he can get this guy off. It's not fair. It's wrong.
No, it is not fair. So right now, while Leah is pulling up the next article, would be a good time to remind you guys why we go live every Friday at 6 o'clock. Because Brad from the Big Family Homestead is a friend of very dear friends of ours, Kevin and Heather from their channel Goin' Batty. And he approached us and said, listen, I have this really cool thing called the Homestead Network. And it's kind of a thing where, like a television station where there's time slots, and he's got several different homesteading type shows and YouTube channels that have a lot of subscribers, and they fill in different time slots throughout the week. We have the Friday evening at 6 o'clock time slot. So it's not a paid gig. It's all voluntary. It's just something that's really cool. And so to kind of boost like-minded channels, if you guys like the fact that Lee and I are homesteaders and that we keep pigs and have chickens and stuff like that, go and support the other homesteading channels. Not only going and subscribing, that you'll find it's www.homesteadnetwork.com. So you can go there and find the other channels and see what time slots you guys might want to check out different shows there. Obviously, I'm always plugging Big Family Homestead and Goin' Batty because those are our favorite channels on the network, but there are so many more there.
Okay, so what we'll probably end up doing is I was going to film some these stories today, so we'll probably end up breaking them up and going and put them up individually.
Sure.
Welcome. It's July 7th, 2017. Welcome to Resistance Chicks. Now, I'm going to bring three kind of little stories together. And we're going to talk about the crazy... I know we've got some liberal people watching.
Don't mince words.
Lefty, crazy mindset that has radical left. I don't know what you call them. That is literally causing people to go insane over transgenderism and to the point where in Canada there's a law. I don't know if they passed it yet or not. My Canadian friends, let me know. Where they want to be able to take children away from parents if the parents won't allow their children to be gender reassigned physically through medications and surgeries. But they can't get a tattoo or maybe a piercing before they're 18, but they can get gender reassigned. And so here we go. This newborn baby may be the first to be registered gender unknown because its mom insists only the tot can decide what sex it wants to be.
Let's see. A Squirrel says that's Bill 89 passed in Ontario. Continue.
You're gonna have to move if your kid is transgender. Get him out of Canada. You're something. I don't know what you're gonna do.
This can all be prevented by homeschooling your children, because if they're not in public school, there's nobody that they can report to.
There is a okay.
They're not gonna want to be transgendered if they're not in public school.
Okay, there's a guy
around weird people.
I'm gonna give my spiel, but somebody shared on Facebook today. There's a professor from the University of Toronto, I believe, who speaks out about this. He's got the Patreon account. I know who I've seen his videos. He gets $50,000 a year.
Somebody knows his name. You can give it to us in the
Who's
thing.
the guy, the conservative guy who talks about gender?
Yeah, he's really
awesome.
cool.
He's awesome. You guys have told me about him.
Dr. Jordan B. Peterson.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. I love it.
Squirrel's on it today.
Yes. So yeah, Peterson is awesome, and you guys should go watch some of his videos. He's really making men again, and they have a purpose for a living where feminists have taken their purpose away from them because of things like this. Now, here we go. Katie Doughty, who identifies as a non-binary trans person, but she had a child. Okay. Wants Canadian authorities to issue non-gendered birth certificate for 8-month-old child. A parent who identifies as non-binary trans person is demanding their baby is given the world's first gender unknown birth certificate. Canadian Corey Doty, who has a mustache, and claims to be neither male nor female.
I can't.
Has
I'm
been
so sorry.
fighting to
I
keep-
can't not laugh. I am sorry. I don't care if that makes me a bad person.
Cheryl
sorry.
at least gender off government records since giving birth last November.
She gave birth. She's a she. It's that simple, sweetheart.
So birth certificates should not specify gender is what she's saying. The child already has a health card in British Columbia, which does not state its gender. Dottie, who prefers to be referred to as they.
Stop it. You're not a plural person. She's got MPD, multiple
That's
personalities.
exactly what it is, dude.
Or DID, dissociative identity disorder.
We know about these disorders, and I'm pretty sure she must have it.
Yes, I'm sure.
Rather than he or she, which means she was probably abused as a child, and so we should really feel bad for people like this.
You're right.
Don't be angry at them, but they are
Yes.
really messed up. They should they need to be almost in an institution, and probably needs her child to be taken away. This is child abuse, like to the nth degree. Told CBC they are raising Cheryl in such a way that until they have the sense of self and command a vocabulary to tell me who they are. They added, I'm recognizing them as a baby and trying to give them all them. They
There's
and
not
them
two
is plural.
genders in there. They obviously this female obviously doesn't understand common English.
All the love and support to be the most whole person that they can be outside of the restrictions that come with the boy box and the girl box. I understand raising children without okay, girl is pink, boy is blue, because at one time the colors were switched, okay, and the boys were red and the girls were blue. I really like blue. I just love
wearing blue.
I love blue. I love sky blue. But anyways, the point is, I understand, letting boys play with dolls or girls play with trucks. I mean, the boys in my family always had the cooler toys, and it was really frustrating because I loved Hot Wheels. They were fun to play with, and the boys got like airplanes that they could like throw in the air and just cool toys. The Boy Scouts got to go camping. The Girl Scouts had to sit at home and like make cookies, and I wanted to camp and do things and hunt or something. But still,
You didn't want to hunt.
I did.
Okay.
Why not? What? How do you know?
I don't know. I don't think you even knew what hunting was.
I wanted to hunt.
Okay.
Okay. Anyways, back to the hunt. While the Canadian province has sent the baby health cards with an undetermined gender, authorities have refused to issue the certificate. Dottie's lawyer says BC only issues birth documents which have a male or female designation. And while another Canadian province, Ontario, says it is reviewing its policies to include non-binary genders, critics claim such children could become a target for bullies or discrimination.
Very good point.
The British Columbia Human Rights Tribunal is helping Dottie fight to get all government were incorrect, and I ended up having a lot of adjustments since then. Now, the truth be told, there are people who are born hermaphrodites who are born with both genders, and they should have a genderless birth certificate, and they should be allowed to grow up and decide what they are.
Right.
Okay? Doctors should
I think it would become very clear early
Doctors-
on because they actually do have a gender. Okay,
Right.
They may have different genitals, but they actually have a gender. Their body makeup has a
and you can
gender.
it depends
Inside
on how
we all know.
DNAs and things like that. But that is a disformity and a disability that is physical, and so that is a different case.
Right.
But we're not talking about hermaphrodites. We're not talking about people who are born with two sets of
I was watching some conversation the
biological-
other day, and I don't remember if it was on one of our videos or another video or something that somebody else had posted about some guy had said, well, obviously there are people that are born gay, and so God wouldn't make people to be born gay, and he was talking about the scripture in the Bible that says some are born eunuchs, and I kind of I wanted to laugh at this person. I can't even remember if I did respond, but the response is this: there are always going to be some sort of deformities that happen.
People are born with one arm. People are born
Exactly.
with one leg.
If just because you're born a hermaphrodite doesn't make you a homosexual. A homosexual is somebody that is born one gender and is attracted to that same gender. If you're born a hermaphrodite, you just have a physical deformity outside of what your gender is.
Right.
And I'm against all operations. I think everybody is. That's done on children when it is kind of a hermaphrodite situation until you really can know and that child can say, I am this gender or whatever. So, I mean, I think it's pretty straightforward.
Well,
The people that don't understand
there's
it.
another parent, and this is another parenting, like, fail, you could say. Mother brags about turning young son into drag queen on social media. And this has been happening on a regular basis, where parents dress their boys up in burlesque. I don't believe I showed you guys the video. There are parents who dressed a boy up in drag and had him dance in front of a bunch of trans men in a sexual burlesque way. And
that's not the first time I've seen. I actually didn't see that video, but I've seen videos like that. So this is something
that's
happens.
called pedophilia.
Exactly.
That's called pedophilia. Okay, so here we go again. This mom here, and I don't blame parents like this all the way. I blame the push of it. You've got people at the top who prey on weak-minded people. Okay, who push the cool. So she's trying to be cool, right? Because she's posting this on social media. Mother and author Mikili Faria Jorge took to social media on Tuesday to brag about turning her young son into a drag queen. Jorge explained that she was watching RuPaul's Drag Race, and I guess this is a really big thing right now because a lot of people are watching this, a reality show in which drag queens compete for the title of America's Next Drag Superstar with her impressionable child. Fantastic parenting move number one for watching that. But we'll go to another story because how many of you have heard about the libraries who are using trans people, dressed up trans people to read to children in libraries?
Can we just call them drag queens? They're just drag queens.
Yes.
Dressed up trans people are drag queens.
Right. When he apparently told her he wanted to do that also. So not everything that your child says that they want to do, you should allow them to do.
Kids are, like Leah just said, kids are so impressionable. Whatever they see is what
they emulate. They are like bamboo, right? As bamboo is growing, you can train it in which way you want it to go.
There's a scripture for that.
Train up a child in the way they should go, and when they are old enough, they will not depart.
Right.
And so this mother's training her child to be this way. Naturally, the mother opted to bypass any actual helpful guidance and instead took out endless makeup, turned her son into a drag queen, posed for pictures. I call this pedophilia and child abuse, and he should be taken away. And she should be taken into counseling to teach her that this is not appropriate. And then plastered them on the internet. Fantastic parenting move. So here's the kid. He had me do his wings, insisted on eyelashes, boasted the mother. And then while we were watching RuPaul's Drag Race last night, and this little one says, I want to do this also, she says to him, you're beautiful. And then he says, Ma, we need to buy a wig. And so he's dressed up and his thing's coming off his shoulder a little bit. I mean, this looks like the Baka boys in Afghanistan.
That's
where they dress boys up in girls' clothes and have them dance around and put makeup on them in a sexual manner. Because whether people realize it or not, drag queens dress around and do things in a sexual manner. It's not just, why do you think they're up there? Okay, it's drag, it's burlesque. It's not just, I'm dressing in drag and I'm going to go play basketball, right? She then took photos of her son in a red dress and gave him his own drag name, Cat Estrophy. And then he had me do his wings, insisted on eyelashes, ate carefully not to ruin his lipstick. So meet Baluni Litig, silent E, silent G, whatever, my drag name for him. Photos of the young mother posing with excessive makeup were also posted on Jorge's Twitter account because Mama wanted in on the action too. So she wanted it on the action, so she's doing her makeup like RuPaul. It's just so weird. Jorge posted an especially inappropriate photo of the young boy in which the dress he was wearing was partially off, exposing his shoulder as he peered downwards. She captioned the photo with the word sachet.
I'm sorry, that's all I got.
The mother ended her tweet storm with a video clip of the decked out duo. I don't know if we should even stomach it or... and it's just Jorge has authored a collection of short essays entitled "I Love You, I Love Chicken Nuggets, and Other Tales of Motherhood." The author candidly talks about motherhood from the perspective of a young mother raising a son on a site link. See, this is why
I'm like, is she a single mom? Is there a dad here?
Dads should put a stop to this kind of stuff. You know?
So Milo Yiannopoulos, and you guys know that we have supported him in the past, not his lifestyle, but the things that he says. He posted something on his Facebook the other day. And it said, is this true? And the article said that when straight males see two homosexual guys kissing, they have the same reaction to viewing a bucket of maggots. Leah was telling me about this the other day, and I went and saw it, and she said that most of the comments...
They were so nice. The men on there were hilarious to me. They're like, dude, Milo... We love you.
Whatever you do between you and whatever is fine with us, but...
Yes, it's true.
It's kind of maggot
It makes
reaction.
us want to hurl.
Yeah.
It makes us sick.
Right. So I'm just kind of wondering if there's a dad with a maggot reaction here. Maybe anywhere.
There should be. She says that she was a young mom and still trying to, learn how to be mom. Now, I wanted to bring up this. This woman is a pediatrician, and she says how transgender ideology has infiltrated her field and produced large-scale child abuse. Now, this is what I was getting to with these two stories, because these are two of multiple stories that we get every day, and I can't cover them all, just like people have been sending me the library one with the trans, and I actually had a whole thing set up for you guys, and I was going to take you to all the different libraries where all the different trans people are teaching kids how to be drag queens and disgustingness, and I might... still later, but
society used to keep children away from these people.
Society used to keep children away from these people because they're
Right.
not mentally sound, and that when they dress in drag,
perverts.
it's for sexual reasons.
Right.
It's like they dress in drag mostly. It's like a prostitution burlesque show thing, right?
Right.
Okay, so transgender. This is Michelle Cretella. She is the president of the American College of Pediatricians, a national organization of pediatricians and other healthcare professionals dedicated to the health and well-being of children. She says, transgender politics is a political thing. This is being pushed on us by the George Soroses. And I'll just give you my punchline. I believe the transgender ideology is being pushed for population control. They're trying to get the population down.
Duh.
So they want to get kids really...
If you can get them to choose something that a sexual choice that makes it so that they can't have children, guess what? That's one less person that's going to reproduce.
So first of all, they actually push promiscuity and sex outside of marriage because then you'll need abortion and contraception, okay?
Right.
Because two people who are lovingly get married and they're like, okay, kids aren't so bad. We're married. We're a family, right? But if you're having people have so much sex outside of marriage, then you realize, okay, wait a minute, I shouldn't be raising a kid. Maybe I should be taking birth control, and maybe I should be. So they don't want people married. They don't want people having kids. This is their poppy kid. And so because that didn't go far enough for them,
exactly.
then they pushed homosexuality, and homosexuality didn't catch on as much. So now they're pushing transgenderism.
We haven't pushed this in a while. But there is an amazing documentary out there, and it's just called The Birth Control Movie. And we have sent
Birth Control the movie.
Birth Control the movie. We have sent it to several people. We've seen it several times. I absolutely love this documentary. I want you guys to seek it out. I'm sure you can get it on like Vimeo for like $5 or something. Rent it.
And the reason I would, and I'm not trying to tell we always love kids. We want you to have kids if you're married.
Well, it takes you through.
But this is red pill stuff, guys. This is eugenics.
Yes.
This is
Margaret Sanger.
This is killing women. I mean, the first women that took the birth control pill, they got blood clots. They died. They didn't care. Margaret Sanger was pushing birth control pill to black people. We don't want to let it get out that we want to exterminate the black race, is what she said. Most abortion clinics are in low-income black neighborhoods, and so there's a giant push now. Now, obviously, people actually they actually want kids, even though maybe I won't get married. You know, women, they really do feel love when they have babies, so that they couldn't break. Right? So now you just have a bunch of single moms having kids, and so their plan didn't really work as well as they'd hoped. So they keep trying to engineer us socially.
Right. Well, my point was it started out with the legalization, or I guess the shutting down of the Comstock laws, where it legalized pornography. And there were people before all of this even happened. They said, listen, if you legalize pornography, then you will soon have birth control that follows. Then you will have abortions, and then you will have a rampant outrage of homosexuality and promiscuity in your society, and that is exactly what happened. And the birth control, the movie, lays that out. It's really,
all
really
red pill good stuff. I mean, even if you use it, you're whatever you're gonna do, you need to be red pilled on who started it, why they started it. Realize Margaret Sanger had the same agenda as Hitler. So, and all the eugenic guys at the time, I mean, she was even run out. She was actually supposed to be thrown in jail, and then Comstock died, and then they didn't, she was able to come back.
But she and Hitler were, they both really idolized each other.
Right. So back to Michelle Cretella, the professional. Just a few years ago, not many could have imagined a high-profile showdown over transgender men and women's access to the single-sex bathrooms in North Carolina. But transgender ideology is not just affecting our laws, it is intruding into the lives of the most innocent among us, children. And the whole transgender bathroom thing isn't because there's a bunch of transgenders lining up to go to the bathroom. It's just to get it out there. To get us talking about it. Exactly. And with the apparent growing support of the professional medical community. As explained in her 2016 peer-reviewed article, Gender Dysphoria in Children and Suppression of Debate, professionals who dare to question the unscientific party line of supporting gender transition therapy will find themselves maligned and out of a job. It's called gender dysmorphia, when you are in a body and you think you're in the wrong body. Okay, this is alien stuff, man. This is your head is not right stuff. Okay, it's one thing to be homosexual and be attracted to a gender, right? It's a whole other thing to think that you're in the wrong body. This is case of the body snatchers. This is like Freaky Friday stuff, right?
Way back when, even if it wasn't a gender thing, like you just thought you were a different gender, if you thought you were a person, actually I think even today, if you thought you were a person in the wrong body, they would kind of like, you should be at the funny farm.
Yeah, for real. But now they're encouraging it, and they're making it cool on purpose.
Somebody says, yes, I'm in the wrong body. I should look like Charlize Theron. Yeah.
I should be taller. I'm in the wrong body.
Look, we just fixed that. Just fixed it.
I speak as someone intimately familiar with the pediatric and behavioral health communities and their practices. I am a mother of 4 who served 17 years as a board-certified general pediatrician with a focus in child behavior health prior to leaving clinical practice in 2012. For the last 12 years, I've been on the board. I've been a board member and researcher for the American College of Pediatricians, and for the last 3 years, I have served as its president. I also sat on the board of directors for the Alliance. Am I on the right? I forgot. Remember, don't get it. I'm on enough to the left.
No, look at the. Okay. You can just see yourself here, but speak into the microphone.
But then somebody told Michelle kept saying that I need to stop being in the middle.
You're good.
Okay. All right. She also sat on the board of directors for the Alliance for Therapeutic Choice and Scientific Integrity from 2010 to 2015. This organization of physicians and mental health professionals defends the right of patients to receive psychotherapy for sexual identity conflicts that is in line with their deeply held values based on science and medical ethics. I have also witnessed an upending of the medical consensus on the nature of gender identity. What doctors once treated as a mental illness, the medical community now largely affirms and even promotes as normal. Here's a look at some of the changes. The new normal. Pediatric gender clinics are considered elite centers for affirming children who are distressed by their biological sex. This distressful condition, once dubbed gender identity disorder, was renamed gender dysphoria in 2013. Now, I'm going to tell you, I will guarantee you, I will bet everything that
the house and the farm.
If you put children, like take them out west and you just let them grow up, and you don't put any of this gross stuff to them, right? They grow up like they did in like the 1800s, just them, just their family.
You got to get
rid of public school. The boys will grow up boys, and the girls will grow up boys every single time.
So long as they're not molested.
So, well, yeah, unless they're, if they're not around crazy people. If they're not around anybody crazy, they will grow up normal, like just normal.
Right.
If they're in a normal environment, it's what I'm trying to say is it's their environment that's causing it, not. They're not born like that. In 2014, there were 24 of these gender clinics clustered chiefly along the East Coast and in California. I wonder why. 1 year later, there were 40 across the nation, with 215 pediatric residency programs now training future pediatricians in a transition-affirming protocol and treating gender dysphoric children accordingly. Gender clinics are bound to proliferate further. Last summer, the federal government stated that it would not require Medicare and Medicaid to cover transition-affirming procedures for children or adults because medical experts at the Department of Health and Human Services found the risks were often too high and the benefits too unclear. Undeterred by these findings, the World Professional Association for Transgender Health has pressed ahead, claiming without any evidence that these procedures are safe. Tidbit here. Has anybody heard of Jazz?
Yes.
Is a young boy
We've covered it
trying to be a girl, and he has a program. He has a program in which he has the hormones to make him a girl, right? Well, I guess there's a bottom surgery you can undergo, but because they stopped the growth of his
Everything
natural,
else.
yeah, now they can't do the bottom surgery. So you totally just messed up a whole child's whatever. Even in the future, you've got to wait at least till they're adults to have, at least. But you can't do this stuff to children. This is so unethical. It is beyond my mind. It is child abuse because they see it on TV. They're pushing it on TV like Jazz is trying to be cool. Everyone knows that child stars will try to do anything to be a star.
I'm assuming that all tattoos for children as young as 2 will become legal shortly.
Yes.
Because if you can change your gender, certainly you can get Kermit the Frog put on your body somewhere at as early as 2, because that's a decision that you would like, as a 2-year-old, that you will be okay with Kermit on your body for the rest of your life.
Yes.
I don't think
am
that's gonna
advocating
happen.
for tongue piercings, ears piercing, and nose piercing for
Yes.
toddlers.
Yes.
5 years old, 6 years old.
But even those aren't permanent. A tattoo is permanent. Gender change, pretty permanent.
Yeah.
A little bit.
All
Okay,
right.
so why are we covering all of this? For those of you that don't know, we go live every Friday between 6 and 7 Eastern Standard Time. I know we're going to run out of time. As a matter of fact, I don't think that there's anybody behind us. If you wanted to
We'll
just
just keep
continue,
going.
we'll just keep going. Normally
And then
it's
I'll
supposed
break
to be an
these up
hour.
into segments.
So a lot of us, somebody had commented and wanted us to move on to the G20
We will.
Summit. We're going to get there.
Give me just a few more minutes.
We will cover the stories in order.
So, 2 leading pediatric associations, the American Academy of Pediatrics and Pediatrics Endocrine Society, have followed in lockstep, endorsing the transition affirmation approach, even as the latter organization concedes within its own guidelines that the transition affirming protocol is based on low evidence. They even admit that the only strong evidence regarding this approach is its potential health risks to children. A transition-affirming view holds that children who consistently and persistently insist that they are not the gender associated with their biological sex are innately transgender. The fact that in normal life and in psychiatry, anyone who consistently and persistently insists on anything else contrary to physical reality is considered either confused or delusional is conveniently ignored. The transition-affirming protocol tells parents to treat their children as the gender they desire and place them on puberty blockers around age 11 or 12
That doesn't make
if they are gender
any
dysphoric.
sense. It
Right.
literally doesn't make any sense because you don't know as a child what you want to even be when you grow up as a profession. How do you know what your gender is? There is scientific proof that your brain does not develop well. And for guys, it's like until you're like 24, isn't
Yeah.
it? Something ridiculous
Yeah.
like that. You can't just all of a sudden say that a child, the people that are pushing this are either insane or they have an agenda. Either way, they need to be taken out. Like not shot and taken out, but taken out of their position.
Every child needs to be able to go through puberty because then they can decide after that. But if you don't even let them go through puberty, seriously. So if by age 16, the children still insist that they are trapped in the wrong body after all the hormones they put in their body, right?
Which I think that they would think that hormones really do change. Dude, any woman out there had a period. Hormones change the way you feel, okay? Just saying. So if you're putting hormone blockers, it's going to change. So if they still insist. Duh.
They are placed on cross-sex hormones, and biological girls may obtain a double mastectomy at 16 years old.
Oh my god.
So-called bottom surgeries or genital reassignment surgeries are not recommended before 18, though some surgeons have recently argued against this restriction because they see these people all the time. The transition-affirming approach has been embraced by public institutions in media, education, and our legal system, and it's mostly in the media. And is now recommended. You got Lady Gaga out there, encouraging this.
Because she's an authority on this subject.
Well, it's demonic. She's encouraging it through the devil. And is now recommended by most national medical organizations. There are exceptions to this movement, however, in addition to the American College of Pediatricians and the Alliance for Therapeutic Choice. These include the Association of American Physicians and Surgeons, the Christian Medical and Dental Associations, the Catholic Medical Association, and the LGBT-affirming youth gender professionals.
Good.
The transgender movement has gained legs in the medical community and in our culture by offering a deeply flawed narrative. The scientific research and facts tell a different story. Here are some of the basic facts. Twin studies prove no one is born trapped in the wrong body.
In the body of the wrong sex.
Okay, sorry. Some brain studies have suggested that some are born with a transgender brain, but these studies are seriously flawed and prove no such thing. Virtually everything about human beings is influenced by our DNA, but very few traits are hardwired from birth. All human behavior is a composite of varying degrees of nature and nurture. Researchers routinely conduct twin studies to discern which factors, biological or non-biological, contribute more to the expression of a particular trait. The best designed twin studies are those with the greatest number of subjects. Identical twins contain 100% of the same DNA from conception and are exposed to the same prenatal hormones. So, if genes and or prenatal hormones contributed significantly to transgenderism, we should expect both twins to identify as transgender close to 100% of the time. Skin color, for example, is determined by genes alone. Therefore, identical twins have the same skin color 100% of the time. But in the largest study of twin transgender adults, published by Dr. Milton Diamond in 2013, only 28% of the identical twins both identified as transgender. 72% of the time they differed. Diamond's study reported 20% identifying as transgender, but his actual data demonstrate 28%. Okay. So that 28% of identical twins both identified as transgender suggests a minimal biological predisposition, which means transgenderism will not manifest itself without outside non-biological factors also impacting the individual during his lifetime. The fact that the identical twins differed 72% of the time is highly significant because it means that at least 72% of what contributes to transgenderism is one twin consists of non-shared experiences after birth. That is, factors not rooted in biology. Studies like this one prove that the belief in innate gender identity, the idea that feminized or masculinized brains can be trapped in the wrong body before birth, is a myth and has no basis in science. Gender identity is malleable, especially in young children. Even the American Psychological Association's Handbook of Sexuality and Psychology admits that prior to the widespread promotion of transition affirmation, 75 to 95% of puberty children who were distressed by their biological sex eventually outgrew that distress. That is huge. Pretty much all of them. The vast majority came to accept their biological sex by late adolescence after passing naturally through puberty. But with transition affirmation now increasing in Western society, the number of children claiming to distress over their gender and their persistence over time has dramatically increased, 2,000% increase.
This article looks like it's going to be really long. You're not going to be able
well,
to
how about
read
I just
the
read?
whole
How about I just
thing.
read the?
Sometimes I have to
points.
help keep Leah in check.
No. Well, I just think things are important.
Well, I know, but important would be like another 20 minutes of this.
Okay, gender identity is malleable, especially in young children. Puberty blockers for gender dysphoria have not been proven safe. There are no cases in the scientific literature of gender dysphoric children discontinuing blockers. Cross-sex hormones are associated with dangerous health risks. Neuroscience shows that adolescents lack the adult capacity needed for risk assessment. There's no proof that affirmation prevents suicide in children. Transition affirming protocol has not solved the problem of transgender suicide. Bottom line, transition affirming protocol is child abuse. Okay.
That's a very good way to wrap it up.
All right.
Somebody said it's simpler
Peanut
to
butter,
just
say something?
read the Bible. I agree.
Peanut butter.
Peanut butter. You're not
Peanut
the
butter.
peanut butter mom.
First of all,
What just happened?
the pageant thing is the same thing as drag queen. When they do that to little girls in their pageants and all that stuff,
Yes.
that's just as bad.
There you go.
And as they wipe out the country's nationality through abortion and birth control, they're going to bring all these Muslims and The reason I want to bring Muslims is Muslims are in a religion of laws that bind them and bind their mind, and they can't think outside of it. They're bound to a man called Muhammad. Now they bring him into our country and other people's countries, and they're going to bind their children with the same religious laws.
Yep.
Because that way they can use them as slaves. These people want slaves. They love slaves. They want somebody to clean their bathroom. They want somebody to mow their grass. They want slaves to work for them. And Christianity sets men free from other men and free from slavery. And those who have been rooted, like the Western societies, in Christianity, it's just in our roots. It's in us. We're free people. It just comes from knowing that Jesus Christ set us free. And we listen to a man, but he is the Son of God. And he sets us free. Whereas the Muslim religion binds them to a bunch of written laws and rules and stuff. And they can enslave them because they're already enslaved to their religion. Whereas Christianity sets you free and you can think for yourself. Like Muslims hate homosexuality, but they sodomize. And sodomy is homosexuality. And these guys don't know it because they're stuck in their religion, binding their brains. They can't think outside the box. And, I forget what I was going to say. But that's important to know why they want to destroy Christianity in the 90s and the 1900s. So that they can bring in this other religion that binds men. Because with Christianity, you're set free from other people. You can't be a slave.
Right.
When in Muhammad, you're a slave to Muhammad, actually,
Right.
in that religion. And they get away with all these atrocities because people can't think outside their box. The law kills.
Right.
The spirit gives life. And that's why they destroyed Western society and Christianity, because it's in our roots. It's in who we are.
Why are we offline on your phone? Okay.
Okay.
My phone just all of a sudden died. I don't know if it's
And
plugged in.
somehow the button erased my documents that I had up for the G20 Summit.
It was
so
where I
have
had
to-
this on here. I think it was
so
pressing
I
that
have
button.
to find them again. Sorry. I can bring you this one first.
Oh, another thing.
Well, they're not going to be able to hear you. We'll repeat it. You want to come back? She's got another thing. Go on, Mama.
Before you say somebody's transgender, you got to see if they learned about homosexuality in kindergarten in their books and stuff.
Right.
Because that's child abuse, and that messes with a child's mind. Because it's not natural to think about a man being a woman married. It's not natural. So they're messing with a child's brain. The spirit says our mind's free, and then these evil people. So before you say a child wants to be trans, did he learn about homosexual in public school or in even daycare centers?
Right.
Okay.
Good point. Did
Good
you
point.
ever redo your phone here to the new Wi-Fi?
I don't know.
Because it's not logging on. Carry on. I'll figure
Okay,
this out.
you can find my other phone. All right, so the G20 Summit, and Michelle and I looked up exactly what that was. The most powerful, the 20 countries with the biggest economies meet together. Now, the EU counts as one. So, there's a lot of countries there. All right, but there was this international left-wing Antifa there protesting. I believe they were protesting capitalism. I'm not exactly sure, but they left 130 police injured, and they left Hamburg in flames.
This is insanity. I mean, it doesn't even make any sense. Why? And here's the thing. I'm not even pro the G20 Summit, I got to tell you. But to go and have this kind of violence, to me, it's insanity.
So this international left-wing extremist rampaged through Hamburg streets in opposition to the G20 Summit Thursday night. Mass demonstrators... Okay, you can be done now. Mass demonstrators threw bottles and stones, blocked streets, and smashed and burnt cars in Thursday night's so-called Welcome to Hell. Why is this doing this?
I don't have Dropbox
You hooked
on
that
there.
up my computer. You turned my phone on maybe, and it started to do the Dropbox.
I didn't do anything yet.
It's got to be my phone there.
You can just mute it for a second.
Okay.
Sorry, this is live. Welcome to our live.
Footage from Friday morning showed I muted it,
No,
but
you
then
didn't.
no,
No, you didn't.
no. But here's the thing: when you
I know
you
how
have
it
to
works.
click off,
There you go.
and then okay. So this Welcome to Hell demonstration footage from Friday morning showed numerous fires still burning in the streets with and thick black smoke hanging over large parts of the city. Police were forced to deploy water cannons, tear gas, and riot control tactics, but could not prevent the destruction as they found themselves unprepared and short-staffed. So we've got just craziness going on here, just cars, because that's what they do. They just catch cars on fire. With the Antifa here, they were totally prepared with their umbrellas to be water cannoned. And you can see they all have their rain jackets on. And, you know, I'm sure the reporters came with their, you know, waterproof cameras and things like that.
Is there any volume there? Oh, no, we muted it.
I can't. We're going to keep having this
we
Dropbox
need
notification.
The drop not.
It's really going to get annoying.
Why does it keep adding pictures?
Because I don't know why. I didn't think we had any room left in Dropbox. There, it's going to keep going. Every single picture from now into eternity.
Nuh-uh.
Probably.
You want me to shut it off?
You could go get my other camera.
Well,
my
then
other
I have
phone.
to actually shut this phone off.
You probably would.
Is it really going to keep doing it?
I have no idea.
Where is your other phone?
I don't know, on the counter. It's in the basket. It's in the basket, I think, in the basement of vegetables I just picked. So, in total, 130 police officers were injured, Welt reports, and with 12 unable to continue doing their jobs, 3 officers... I thought I had muted you. 3 officers required treatment in the hospital. The injured include police helicopter pilots who sustained eye injuries when laser pointers were directed at them. Police are still being attacked, a spokesperson for Hamburg's police told the AFP, Associated Press, and clashes took place around just 1.5 miles from the site of the summit. So you've got rioters here jumping over this. It's just insane. I think they said there was like, I don't know, 10,000 or something. The numbers are, I don't know. They're, what do you say? What do you say to these people? And then the riot police come and then they're going to come and do their riot police thing, I guess. I
think you can unmute
You're
it
going to
now.
say something about it. They're probably being paid.
Yeah.
Their source goes around paying people to
So,
do this.
if you can't hear the peanut gallery, what she's saying is they're probably being paid. Now your phone's too big for my holder, fat phone. Have to get something else.
Most of this stuff is done by bad people.
You know, it's hard for me to hear German voices over a loudspeaker because the only time I've ever heard that is in like a Nazi movie.
It is kind of
Stalag prisoners, get back to your prison. Sorry, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's unfortunate repercussion of that.
A senior police officer told Welt, we can only...
Hogan's Heroes, yes. We grew up watching that.
Still on
actually.
13. Yeah.
Still 13.
Rouse! Okay. We can only hope that the rumors disappear that international left-wing extremists want to attack the capital, Berlin, in parallel, because these indications have existed for quite some time now. There was this cool spousal get-together, and Melania Trump was held back because of the protesters.
Which was actually really sad. She said she was looking forward to it.
She tweeted out,
I was
everybody stay safe. I wanted to go.
Oh my god.
Besides the fact, this is a little-known piece. They forgot to book the president's hotel, and there was nowhere for him, no room in the inn.
Really?
Yes.
Where
really.
did he stay?
I think he stayed in a German, governmental building, Senate area. I don't know. But they found room for him, within the German government or something. But, yeah, it was
Somebody
kind of
said that
embarrassing.
Trump did great in Poland, and you are right. We covered it a little bit. We couldn't do his entire speech.
Right.
It kind of started out slow, and then it got going near the end.
It was awesome. I mean, for you, please watch that because it was just really, really powerful. Well, In addition, though, yes, you had the protests, but we all wanted to see Donald Trump finally met Putin.
Yes.
And he shook his hand.
He did.
And we were all so excited. Putin even said, we've talked on the phone, but there's nothing like meeting in person. It's beautiful. So I'm going to try to find all the articles that I had up, and somehow they all just disappeared on me.
Did you try opening up the Google Docs again over there?
No, because it would have been deleted.
No, just try it.
I will try.
Just try it. Did you try right-clicking and edit undo?
I did.
This time is noteworthy. You'll notice that those who love socialism and communism hate Trump.
Yeah.
And those who love freedom and Jesus Christ and the Holy Spirit, they love Trump. And in Poland, that's a very Christian country.
Yes.
And did they turn on the charm and welcome mat for Trump? I mean, they just loved him because he talked about God. He talked about freedom. He talked fighting for your freedom.
Yes.
And these other people who are fighting, you look at Laura Solis, what's her name?
Sour.
Okay, it's a
The
sour
face.
name, yeah. But
Sour.
anyways, somebody like Soros,
George Soros.
who puts on this disrupt the government everywhere. Well,
Yes.
hire a criminal like her. She's a criminal. She's a known
She
terrorist.
actually is a criminal, yes.
And he hires people like that to start these riots. He gets the worst of the worst criminals to do these riots. They're
Yep.
not grassroots people believing strongly and they have to fight.
Right.
No, they're getting paid or they're encouraged or they're being indoctrinated from public school or their curriculum, whatever. College is really brainwash people.
So we have a couple of viewers that are in college in their later years in life. Adeline is one. Help me think of what's her name?
Cheyenne.
Cheyenne is another one, and they will tell you that college is it is a brainwashing center. And so for those of us that are out of college age, for those of you that went to college even 10 years ago, it's different now than it was then. It's just getting exponentially worse as far as brainwashing goes.
I thought I'd just play this
No,
meeting
this is
of the leaders
fantastic.
in the background.
There's baby boy Macron.
I can't even look at the two of them together. It's just beyond repulsive. All the schmoozing. But this is funny.
Yeah.
He grabs his hand. Hey,
Hey, everybody. That's great. I tried to watch it live earlier today, but I couldn't get any sound. I couldn't find any videos that had any sound, but I didn't really need sound. Putin's face was more than enough for me. He had this kind of smile, and like Leah had mentioned earlier, she's like, he is the dark horse in the room. And so he just kind of had a smile on his face, like he just knows that these people are all cray-cray.
So, U.S. President...
But he also knows that...
Mom, they don't really hear you.
Putin also knows the only one who accepts him is Trump. And so he feels safe around Trump because they have kindred spirits.
Right. Exactly.
Okay, so U.S. President Donald Trump has begun his first in-person meeting with Russian Vladimir Putin at the G20 Summit. President Trump told reporters, President Putin and I have been discussing various things, and I think it's going very well. We have some very, very good talks. We'll have a talk now, and obviously that will continue, but we look forward to a lot of great positive things happening for Russia and the United States and for everybody concerned, and it's an honor to be with you.
So they're finally colluding! Officially!
The two world leaders shook hands. I think he can now because right now Podesta is under the spotlight because of his company getting $35 million because he made this great deal with Russia. So the two world leaders shook hands. Then Putin addressed the cameras. Putin said, as translated into English, and I really want to find this clip. I had some other stuff up, but like it was taking a while for this stuff to get up. As translated into English through an interpreter, Mr. President, we spoke over the phone with you several times on very important bilateral and international issues, but phone conversation is never enough.
Horatio says it's probably not best to say that the only one that's his friend is Trump because CNN would have a field day with that.
Hi, Horatio. If we want to have a positive outcome in bilaterals and be able to resolve most international policy issues that will really need personal meetings And I'm delighted to be able to meet with you personally, Mr. President. And I hope, as you said, our meeting will yield positive results. Now, a really good positive result is that they have resolved to work together in Syria. And
That
it's
is
pretty
kind
cool.
of, yes, that's awesome.
And so the two men shook hands again. Trump looked directly at Russian president during much of the conference, while the Russian president often looked forward and down with the occasional glance at President Trump. The presidents were flanked by two men on each side during the press conference. Trump and Putin followed the public press conference with an expanded bilateral meeting. And it seems that Tillerson says that Putin asked Trump for proof of Russia's interference. So, update in this Zero Hedge article. As part of the 2+ hour discussion between the presidents,
smile off my
Trump
face.
and Putin,
So
AP
exciting.
reports that the Russian president asked for proof and evidence of Moscow's alleged interference in the 2016 election, which Russia denies. The request was made after Trump confronted Putin about Moscow's election meddling during their first face-to-face meeting in Germany on Friday. According to Rex Tillerson, who was present in the meeting, the Secretary of State told reporters afterwards that Trump opened the conversation by raising the concerns of the American people regarding Russian interference in the 2016 election. Putin once again denied Russian involvement, Tillerson said, but Trump pressed him on the matter on more than one occasion. President Putin denied such involvement, as I think he has in the past, he continued.
It sounds to me like Trump brought it up.
Oh, sure he did. The Russians, speaking after the meeting, claimed that Trump accepted the denial, but Tillerson did not.
Rex Tillerson! Come on, punch you in the face.
Instead, he said the issue may simply be an intractable disagreement. Tillerson also said the Russians pushed Trump for proof and evidence of meddling, something which the president himself had doubted in public as recently as Thursday. Now, here we go, guys. Remember, why did Podesta and the DNC not hand over the servers to the FBI that they say were hacked by the Russians? Everyone says that this CrowdStrike computer server people are so moral and they would never lie. But when the FBI asked the DNC for their servers, they have consistently said no. So, of course, I am not going to believe anything they say. Nobody should believe anything that they say. If you have proof of a crime, you hand it over to the FBI, and the FBI says this is what happened. But no, we barely trust the FBI, right? But the DNC thinks that there must be somebody honest enough in the FBI that it would get out.
The fact that Rex Tillerson doesn't accept what Putin says a lot about Tillerson.
So the president at this point pressed him and felt like at this point, let's talk about how we go forward.
Horatio wants to know, are they not bound legally to do that?
No, they weren't. They weren't. It was their servers, and they would have to hand it over to the FBI.
And his name was Seth Rich.
Yes.
You got that right.
So Trump and Putin agreed to explore a framework around which they can work better to understand these types of cyber threats. The two leaders agree that this is a substantial hindrance to the ability of us to move Russia-U.S. relationships forward, and agreed to exchange further work regarding commitments of non-interference in the affairs of the United States and our democratic process, as well as those of other countries, Tillerson said. So more work to be done in that regard. Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov, who was in the meeting, said afterward that Trump accepted Putin's assurances that Russia didn't interfere in the election. He accepted, he could tell. He believed Putin.
Here's the thing. Trump wants to believe Putin because prior to all of this, Trump was on the Putin bandwagon, not because of collusion, but because he saw sees that Putin is a genuine person that only wants the best for his country. And Trump is one of those people that respects when other leaders make those types of decisions. Here comes the peanut gallery.
Well, I just want to add history to all this. In the 1930s, men decided, hey, we can steal everybody's gold and silver if we make fake money. And so they took over our government.
That was earlier on.
Yeah, and they gave us this fake money and stole everybody's gold and silver. But they didn't steal America's gold and silver. They stole gold and silver from all over the world. And then those bankers brought in Hitler. Those bankers brought in communism. And so these are communists that we are fighting, and bankers we are fighting, the globalists, and Putin won't let them back in his country. And Putin's trying to go back on the gold standard, and he's trying to farm, because before all this happened, everybody farmed because everything's a free gift from God. Water is free, it just falls out of the sky. Food is free, it multiplies itself. Land is a gift from God. It's free too. And these guys want to enslave us so we don't know that everything we have is a gift from God. You can multiply your green beans, and you have green beans the rest of your life, and you can have wheat the rest of your life. Just get a piece of land and start growing things. Animals multiply. All this stuff is free, but they want us to buy everything.
Right.
And so communism was brought in by American bankers, and the paper money was brought in by American bankers. Nazism was brought in by American bankers. All this evil is done by bankers and globalists and communists.
Thank you.
Thank you, Patriot
I thought I'd
Gallery.
bring up, this is a live stream of what's going on in Hamburg right now.
Oh my gosh.
Go ahead.
Not to give Horatio all to say, but he said, surely if the FBI asks for something, you have to hand it over. You would think.
It was not, I guess it wasn't that kind of ask. It was more of, hey, we'll take a look at this. It's kind of like if you don't press charges, then
Everybody says, thanks, Mom.
Then there's nothing out of that. But
You know,
yeah.
the FBI and the CIA and all these agencies work for George Soros and bankers.
Very true.
And they'll take you out. If FBI were to push on these people, CrowdStrike, I think his name, if they were to push on them, they'd end up dead tomorrow, like everybody else. Clinton has a death list. Clinton's father was a communist, and she was raised by a communist. Obama's father was a communist. He was raised by communists. And they have 1,000 ways to take you out, and all of a sudden, you committed suicide.
Well, there's a difference. A lot of people don't understand. There's the deep state within places like the NSA, the CIA, the FBI, but within that, there is dissemination, there is division. There are people that actually want to do the right thing, and then there are the people who, like Comey, whose pockets are lined by people like Clinton. Obviously, I don't think anybody doesn't know that already, but I just wanted to reiterate that.
To going back to the meeting here, following their first ever meeting, it was supposed to only last for like 30 or 40 minutes. It went for 2 hours plus, and I think that's a really good sign. The question on everyone's mind was, what did the two discuss? So in addition to the previously discussed ceasefire agreement in the southwest Syria, unexpectedly announced by the two nations, speaking at the beginning of his meeting with Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe.
I didn't even see it.
Vladimir Putin said that during his first meeting with the U.S. President Donald Trump, the two discussed Syria, Ukraine, counterterrorism, and drumroll, the fight against cybercrime. I had a very lengthy conversation with the President of the United States. There were a lot of issues, such as the Ukraine, Syria, and other problems, some bilateral issues, according to the Interfax news agency. We again returned to the issues of fighting terrorism and cyber security. Elaborating, I do like my Vladimir Putin there. Elaborating after the meeting, Secretary of State Rex Tillerson said Trump repeatedly, we talked about that. So I think that's really cool. There's the ceasefire. I'm so happy to see them together.
Play that for a second, because that's what I tried to watch earlier. Can you make it bigger? No, it won't go bigger. The entire time, this went on for quite some time.
I might be able to get this one bigger.
Putin had,
I don't know
for
if it's
at
the
least the like 10 minutes I tried to watch and I couldn't hear it. Putin had this like huge smile on his face.
They're waiting for everybody to calm down around them, and then I suspect there'll be that handshake we're all looking at.
See that? He's just got this like cute little like his eyes smile.
He's sitting back in his chair looking fairly relaxed. Donald Trump, edgy.
I like
looking
Putin.
Forward.
Does that show?
Let's just see if we can hear what they're saying.
Various things, and I think it's going very well. We've had some very, very good talks. We're going to have a talk now, and obviously that will continue. But we look forward to a lot of very positive things happening for Russia, for the United States, and for everybody concerned. It's an honor to be with you.
Hey, there you go.
Alexander, I don't know if you saw that particular handshake. It wasn't the friendliest thing I've seen, but equally.
What is this? Like some? It wasn't the.
It's a spin.
What are we
watching? BBC? That's no surprise.
They wanted an Indian Modi hug.
And let's wait to see what happens
No,
in the meeting. All this
Putin's not going to do a bromance hug.
Oh my
I
gosh,
don't
it
wanna
just
bring
certainly
to you.
doesn't seem
But
friendly.
just,
It seemed
one
friendly
of the
to me,
criticisms there is
BBC.
of this meeting, this bilateral meeting,
That's
is
what I have
the
to say.
few number of people that are involved. Rex Tillerson is there.
This is
the
so
two
exciting. I'm
presidents,
so excited right
Rex
now,
Tillerson's,
seeing them in the same room.
Equivalent in Russian ministry, and 2 translators, and that's it. Some say that's a problem. Actually, I'm just going to interrupt.
Some
because
say
we'll
that's a
just see if
problem
that
for them just to be hanging out with a couple translators.
And being able to resolve most acute international policy.
Canadian Giant, no, we don't drink. We're just this crazy without any alcohol. Yeah.
I'm delighted to be able to meet you personally, Mr. President, and I hope, as you have said, our meeting will yield positive results in the US.
There you go.
Mr. President, will you raise the election hacking?
Election hacking. You know what? This is why we call you fake news. This is why we call you fake news media, because your first question wasn't, hey, how about that ceasefire in Syria going? How's that going? You think that's going to save some lives? Yeah, that's a good idea. That's a really good idea. Hey, about those sanctions. Hey, no, maybe we drop those sanctions. No, we don't want to talk about any of that. What are they going to do about the election hacking? I want to punch somebody in the face. I'm not violent.
No violence.
That's
my
want to
job.
punch somebody in the face. You want to punch somebody in the face. Trump had tweeted out earlier, I look forward to all meetings today with world leaders, including my meeting with Vladimir Putin. Much to discuss.
Somebody says BBC is just a posh CNN.
BBC is, I'm sorry, yeah.
I agree. Which media in USA is your favorite? Resistance chicks.
Look at this.
Duh.
Look at this. This photo already everywhere in Russian media, as was a similar one with Obama. Putin knows how to play this game.
Horatio, is that what you were talking about a minute ago when he said that they will try to dissect the handshake with Trump's hand underneath? Seriously,
Trump's
we don't go
the
to USA. Jeez, hang on, watch it. This is violence around here. We don't go to USA media very often. If we do, it's it has to be Fox News, but specifically Tucker Carlson on Fox News. Not really anybody else. We try to go to other foreign news networks like RT.
Okay, wait. This is gonna be awesome.
What is
so
it?
It just says that this is the meeting. This is the dinner, right? So Trump sits next to the Japanese Prime Minister's wife, and he's looking for a seat. And Melania ends up sitting next to Putin.
Melania
Because she speaks Russian. Doesn't she speak Russian?
I don't know. She speaks a lot more languages than everyone else.
I think it would be better for her to sit next to him because they could speak the same language. I think that's up here. I don't know. There's a translator there. She speaks like a ton of languages. You'd think that they would, between the two of them, they'd come up with one that they could speak together. That's kind of interesting.
Somebody Google that really quick. What languages does Melania Trump speak? And put it in the chat, because now I want to know. I know I've heard it before, but I can't remember. She speaks too many languages. I don't know. She speaks
Spouses
English.
separated at the G20. FLOTUS seated next to Putin. I love it. I think that's awesome. It's kind of the big deal. So you can tell by Putin's body language he likes and respects Trump's strong leadership style.
I don't care about his stupid body style. Look at the look on his face. Their eyes are smiling. You can't fake smiling eyes. Right here. You can't fake them, okay? Their eyes are smiling. This is good deal. Why is our phone ringing?
Phone's ringing.
People are not allowed to call
When
our
we
house.
go live,
Can
Mom,
you
you
answer
have
that?
to have a phone on you.
Jeez. Oh my God.
That's now you know our phone number. Please don't call it. Just kidding. That's okay. Our business line is.
That was Janet.
Oh, Mom, it was Janet. You're going to have to call her back. Miss
Or
Janet.
else she'll keep calling.
Yep. She needs to know how we're taking care of our friends' fish.
Fish. Not just any fish. Goldfish. Big, giant, like
Horatio knows about this.
8,500
It
gallon
takes
tanks.
2 hours to change out the water for these fish twice a week. This is what we call real friendship.
Yes, there's multiple tanks, and then fish. I didn't know. Growing up, I had fish, and they always died. I didn't know that they were burning alive in their own like feces because I wasn't. The water looked clean to me. The fish are a very delicate thing. It's terrifying. I feel terrible for the fish. All right, back to Trump. Fish.
Well, there's really there's really not much else to see. I kind of. Well, we could.
Did somebody leave it in the comment? Melania's languages.
We could probably Google it.
You could, but I asked them to do the work. We do all of the work. If the camera gets pixelated, there is nothing I can do about that. It's just, whatever it is.
So let's hear how RT spins it.
Which president looks more like He-Man? No.
Vladimir looks awful tiny next to Donald Trump, but he's big in spirit. Vladimir Putin and Donald Trump have held a much-anticipated first meeting on the sidelines of the G20 Summit in Germany, which lasted more than 2 hours. This is what I wanted to see RT's explanation. I haven't been to it yet. The meeting in Hamburg was initially planned to last for 34 minutes, as we learned about.
Pause.
Yeah?
Michael Thomas says, Mrs. Trump is from Slovenia. So that one, the others are English, French, Serbian, and German.
Serbian is kind of close to Russian. You'd think that they would, it's kind of like us. It's more than us picking up on Mexican, Spanish. Mexican, Spanish.
Mom, you can't have a conversation in the kitchen while we're going live. You're not allowed to do that. Mom, pause. Welcome to our life. You guys love being a part of our family. Here's the thing. Can I plug Resistance Chicks for just 1 second? Because, Ma, you can't have a conversation in the kitchen while we're going live. I feel like I should be Italian. Hey, Ma, you can't have a conversation in the kitchen while we're trying to go live here. Okay? Seriously. But you can't get this stuff anywhere else. She is still having a conversation in the kitchen, and my face is getting red because this is just too hilarious. Mom! Mama! She doesn't listen, just like any other We're not Italian, though, but it's kind of like that.
You don't have to hang up.
But why can't you just take the phone out that way?
Go into the basement.
Did it interrupt your feed?
Well, no, you didn't interrupt us, but we could just hear you.
But they can hear me.
But they probably could hear you. I don't know. Maybe I could. Maybe they can't now they have a microphone. Maybe I was making a big deal about nothing. But it was funny.
Michelle, why are you always picking on your mother? Leave your mother alone.
So here's the thing, you guys. I really think that what we have here at Resistance Chicks is very, very unique.
It's special.
It's very special.
That's what they say to
They're like, no, we don't hear her. Sorry. Is Mom drinking too? No, Mom don't drink. No.
So, right. Putin says, we've had a very long discussion with the U.S. president. Many issues accrued, including Ukraine, Syria, and other problems, as well as some bilateral issues. And then we know about the fighting terrorism and the cybersecurity. Once again, I know you guys leave a lot of comments, but since Horatio is our UK correspondent, and he did leave a really pertinent comment here. He says, let's not forget that Putin isn't called the butcher of Grozny for nothing. He's a really bad guy, but in the big scheme of things, he's on the Western side. I am not going to discount that Putin has done some very bad things. However, I don't think that, I guess Trump is probably the only person out there that I can say who doesn't have blood on his hands yet. Yeah, he sent out that Syria bomb.
You're right, he did. And so in politics, in the world that we live in today, really we're just cheering for a bunch of people that are all crooks and they're all evil and they're all really bad people.
Who is the least crooked?
It's like the lesser of two evils. Putin is pro-Russia and is willing to work with anybody else that is not a globalist. So in that sense, I'm definitely going to be able to get behind him.
You definitely have to weigh the lesser of two evils because, right. Seriously, Putin has gone, and Russia, they have undergone a spiritual, physical change. Remember where Russia was.
And I think that Putin has kind of had just from his stance, he's had a repentant-ish you know.
Yeah, I mean, I think he had some affairs, but you can see where he's at now, and he's changed, and I think that's why he and Trump get along well. And I think on the morality side, Putin is more on the, real leader side. I think he, at this point, through a lot of trials and craziness that they've had to deal with, our world is not an awesome place. There is not one great leader.
Granted, Russia has had a really bad history of kind of, I don't even know, corrupt, evil dealings, and so Putin was kind of born into that. It's kind of like he inherited it.
He was KGB, so.
Yeah, well, yeah. So I'm just saying he's made a turn, I think. So
He
forgiveness
had
a little bit, maybe.
He had a spiritual moment.
Yeah.
He came to know Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
He had a moment. And he brought Christianity back. This is the same kind of, I think that there's a rebirth. We have to allow for rebirth. We have to allow for change. We have to.
Case in point is Trump. Because Leah and I were very anti-Trump in the beginning, just given his past, given his history. You know what I mean? And we saw a turn, a change. And so we're willing to give him the benefit of the doubt. What are you doing?
And we're waiting to see how in depth and rooted that change is, right?
Yeah.
But Putin's his roots keep going deeper and deeper and deeper.
And Putin has had more time to show the fruits of his repentance, whereas Trump has had very little time.
So think of like Venezuela under Hugo Chavez. They were like 90% economy on oil, and then the oil prices dropped, and now they're starving. Like there's no food for these people because they didn't work. The government stole all the farms,
right? As
our friend Brian pointed out, and so nobody's growing food, right? Because they imported everything. And Putin said that at the towards the end, the latter end of the communism, before the sanctions, they were a high exporter of oil as well, and then the sanctions hit, and Putin said we had no food, we had nothing. He realized that they were going to have to become a sustainable country. And in that is his salvation, is the country's salvation. I think that is what is, that when you do a wrong, you can make it right. And communism is very, very, very wrong. And we've told you guys before, we've been to Russia. Our aunt is Russia.
We are Russian agents.
Our uncle started a major company in Russia.
Procter & Gamble.
Okay. I wasn't going to, name names or anything like that. But anyways, so we saw it like right at the beginning of what you could call democracy, but they were still all very, very poor, very, very hungry, still not a lot of food going around, especially not a lot of processed food.
Right.
I mean, y'all can go to the store and buy a cake. They can't do that. They couldn't even, at the time, buy like cream cheese. I mean, these are just like little things. So
when we were there, and this was in what, 94? 95? I was just an infant child. Things that we wanted to buy American food was outrageously expensive. I think a can of Pringles was like $8, and this was in like 95.
I don't know.
It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
One thing that Horatio added was the difference between Russia then and Russia now is that Russia had an ideology then. They don't have an ideology now, and if you don't have an ideology, you can be reasoned with, you can be talked to, but when you're stuck in an ideology, there's no swaying you.
And they actually have embraced Christianity. And I was listening to an interview on Alex Jones with one of these top Russian guys, and he says, we're trying to be a good Christian country.
Right.
They're trying to be like the Christianized West.
Yes.
And get their, I mean, dude, they did some bad things.
All right, let's get back to the article now that we got sidetracked and get back on.
So anyways, Putin and I have been discussing various things. I think it's going very well. Trump told the media during the photo session. We've had some very, very good talks. And we are going to have a talk now, and obviously that will continue. A lot of positive things happening. And I guess it was interesting because the Japanese prime minister was supposed to meet afterwards, and Putin apologized to him for keeping him so long.
He went over his time.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's just, I don't know. It's just these little
You
things
know what,
that you pick
Mr.
up
Japanese president, was it prime minister or president? What do they got in Japan?
I get a little confused between the prime ministers and the presidents.
Here's the thing. Leah
Like,
and Michelle,
Japanese...
we have a wheelhouse of stuff that we know. We're really just now dabbling into the world news thing. So while we just pretend to be world news, we're just not. We're just kind of learning right along with you guys. I have no idea.
Like, who was who? We knew Putin. We knew a few other people.
Yeah.
I'm not...
Either way, I think that that's adorable that Putin would, listen... Japan's not really quite as up there in the importance of the discussions between Putin and Trump was really important. So I think that the Japanese president maybe understood.
So RT says that there was positive chemistry between Trump and Putin, says Tillerson. But I didn't see that on any of the other articles. Yeah. So RT is reporting something a little bit different. Tillerson is said on RT that they had a very robust and lengthy exchange on the subject, and talked about. So I think I'm kind of comparing the two. And Putin apologized to Abe. Both I and the U.S. president owe you apology. So meanwhile, Trump and Putin had positive chemistry during
Prime Minister. He's a prime minister, not a president. Shinzo Abe.
Okay, meanwhile, Trump and Putin had positive chemistry during their first meeting, Tillerson said, adding that there was so much to talk about that neither leader wanted to stop. The two connected very quickly, as we all knew that they would.
Yeah, you know what? When you meet somebody and you hit it off right off the bat, and you just keep talking and talking and talking. Well, that's what happened with Trump and Putin.
First, get this. This is cool. This is stuff you're not going to hear. This is funny. First Lady Melania Trump was sent into the meeting at one point to see her husband and get him out.
And like, go get him. Time to go. Time to go. Who sent her in there, though?
Tillerson also said clearly she failed.
Ha! Did she get stuck in there, too? Because we all know how that happens to us all the time.
Adding the meeting went on for another hour after that. Go get your husband out. And she tried. Melania Trump, that was when she was trumped in the guest house. After the meeting, U.S. and Russian officials announced a ceasefire agreement in southwest Syria set to take effect July 9th. And the armistice applies to the southern Dara, Kanirtra, and Azawadi provinces. So it will take place very shortly. And the U.S. took an obligation that all the militant groups located there will comply with the ceasefire. Tillerson described the deal as the first indication of the Trump administration and Russia being able to work together in Syria. There should have been no problems beforehand. Thank you, Hillary Clinton, for making
a big to-do about nothing.
On North Korea, Trump and Putin had a pretty good exchange as how to handle the threat of the country's nuclear program. Little big man down there. Tillerson also reports that the White House has been engaging in a peaceful pressure campaign against North Korea. He said the tactic involves calculated increases to pressure. I have an idea. Why don't we just drop marshmallows on him?
And it says will require some level of patience. That's a good idea.
How about just some marshmallows?
Marshmallows.
Yeah, he obviously...
It's a marshmallow world.
Yeah, here, we'll just, drop him a bunch of goodies and sweets and stuff, and maybe he'll be good, boy.
Probably not.
This is a campaign to lead us to a peaceful resolution because if this fails, we don't have many good options left, Tillerson said, according to a transcript from CNN. Tillerson added that the U.S. will continue to pressure North Korea by directly going after entities doing business with North Korea, regardless of where they may be located. Specifically, Tillerson mentioned Russia, saying the country does have economic activity with North Korea. Russia's ultimate goal is the same as the U.S., denuclearization of the Korean Peninsula. However, the two countries have differences in the tactics used to achieve the goal. So the Secretary of State said Trump and Putin had very different ideas on how to deal with North Korea, but the U.S. does not support the Chinese and Russian freeze proposal that would see the U.S. suspend military exercises in South Korea in exchange for the North Korea freezing their missile tests. And, to me, the whole, I can't even. It's like it's like war games, and sometimes leaders
kind of
just
is.
want to play these things because it's kind of like they don't have anything else to do. And
Right.
can we just stop talking about war and just like talk about real things for 1 minute? Can we get the Amish guy out of prison?
Yeah.
Just, you know.
Can we start with like, and that's the thing.
Can we talk
During
about
Trump's inauguration speech, he talked, the phone is ringing again.
I think she's got it this time. She's on it.
He talked about putting America first. And so I think that that's something that every country needs to start doing. You have to put your own country first, because guess what? If everybody takes care of their own country, then you're stable enough to help the other countries that literally are not able to do that. A couple of Middle Eastern countries. Then you can but first you have to put your own life, mask on first. And we're not doing that. Well, we're starting to, but.
Hey guys, we've gone on for a pretty long time.
Hey guys, it's almost 2 hours.
We spent a lot of time on transgenderism.
Yes, we did.
And we spent a decent amount of time on the G20 Summit. I'm sure I'm going to have so much more tomorrow. More Antifa, more. Why is it their big thing is to set cars on fire? Like, I don't wake up every morning and say, hey, let's go set a car on fire.
No.
Or, let's go get a rain jacket and let's go to the water park.
Did you show that video?
Yeah.
Oh, I missed it.
Where they brought out the water cannons, and they were already with umbrellas and rain jackets, real thick ones. So, like, let's go to the water park and just sit and be sprayed with water. Isn't this fun?
Yes.
When they bring out the pepper spray, it might not be so much fun.
Yeah. We got our bear spray. Y'all saw that from like the last time. Oh, speaking of which, not speaking of bear spray, hang on.
We need to draw another name?
Yeah.
Oh, so we had a winner, but the winner for the DVD. However, that winner said, thank you very much, but I'm a new subscriber. Could you please draw another name? And so they were
And I said, okay, if you want us to draw another name. For those of you that are just kind of new to Resistance Chicks and you have no idea what we're talking about, Leah and I went to the Red Pill Expo in Bozeman, Montana, last weekend? 2 weekends ago? I'm getting lost in my time. 2 weekends ago. Where we met Chuck and Anita Undersea, who spent 5 years putting together this documentary called Revelation, Dawn of Global Government. It is absolutely phenomenal. It is for those of you that have already been red-pilled, you understand the corruption, and you need a tool to give to other people who haven't had the choice of a red pill versus the blue pill.
After our interview with them, we really clicked. I love them so much. They're like, here, take a DVD for free. And we're like, no, we're gonna buy one.
We're planning on buying one, so we took the free one, and we told them that we would do a drawing on Resistance Chicks. So this is the free one that they gave us, and we want to mail it out to somebody. So we asked you guys to submit comments, which we read in our live feed on July 4th, about when you were first red-pilled. They were really fun. It was a really enjoyable time for me. So we're going to, I actually kept the bowl. My mom went to throw it away, and I said, just in case we can't get a hold of that person, maybe keep the pieces of paper out. So Leah is going to draw another name without looking. You were nervous last time.
Well, one fell out. Okay.
Okay. Who's the winner?
Ready. 81-288.
There you go. So
great names on YouTube, by the way.
Sometimes we just have to wait.
Are you ready to get your DVD?
Yes.
81-288.
Keep that
We
out.
need your address, so please email us at masfaith33@gmail.com. We will comment under your comment.
We'll find
hopefully
you.
we'll find you and track you down.
Yep.
Because YouTube does not make it easy to comment
Mama
and
got
message
the
back.
computer out. Look, there she is. She's commenting
Yo,
now.
Mama.
We're getting ready to sign off, Mother dear.
Say goodbye, Patriot Gallery.
I got homemade pizza from Leah that I need to eat, so we do need to sign off. I'm starving.
I'm ready, matey.
Do we want to end with a song?
Oh, you have to get one prepared ahead of time. I've talked to you about this.
Okay.
I was planting peanuts and peppers. And
what is in the oven?
Beeper. Beep.
I'm telling you guys, you can't get this kind of stuff anywhere else. To be literally become a part of our lives. Sock monkeys get thrown around here because there's dog toys everywhere, all of the time, on the floor. Eastbound and Down. I don't even know that song. I mean, I would probably know it by hearing it, but not by like words. Horatio's always giving me a hard time because he'll like, hey, how about this song? And I'm like, no clue. And he's like, are you serious? And then I listen to him like, oh yeah, I totally knew that song. I just don't know the name of it. No idea.
Well, we all know our songs, but it's never good without the guitar.
You're just gonna go get the guitar? Okay, so does anybody have any last comment? They love it when you sing the song from Cops, like Bad Boys. What you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? Yeah, I think that's what they meant. Freebird. Okay, so here's the thing that you guys may not know about Leah and I, and if you don't, I think it's kind of hilarious. Yeah, we kind of grew up listening to all kinds of music, but like we're church girls. So the songs that we know really well, the songs that we have memorized, the songs that we know how to play on instruments like the piano and the guitar are like either our own. We have like 200 songs between the two of us that we've written at least, and hymns and like church songs. So that's what I have for you. But I do want to read, if you guys have any last comments or anything that you want me to read out loud that are pertinent to news that we missed, you can go ahead and do that while we're waiting for Leah to come back. Really, Michael Thomas? Really? That's the song, Who Let the Dogs Out? No, I'm not even going to do that. That is not even a valid request. One demerit. It's not a song.
It's not even a song. It's like a beat.
It is a beat. Yeah, it's not even really a song. I don't even know any of these songs that you guys are listening. What's on the pizza? Dude, it's like, okay, our pastured raised sort of pork, our own sausage, mushrooms, banana peppers, onions, our own canned tomatoes and cheese, and Leah makes the
I'm not gonna fit
the stuff from scratch, the dough, the bread. I want to talk to y'all people. I should have been telling you guys what happened to me today. I'm in the kitchen doing my kitchen
You're
stuff.
gonna have to move me back.
And Leah says to me, could you please she's got this overflowing bowl of, no, it's not gonna go back, dude. You're not gonna, oh, now it's knocked off centered.
I don't have the room.
I can't handle it if it's off centered. It's gonna drive me insane. Nope. I'm gonna have to go over there and fix it. Anyhow, she says, would you take this? And she gives me direction. Now, Leah, if you don't know anything about Leah, she makes the best bread on the planet.
I wouldn't say it's the best bread. It's bread.
No, it's pretty much the best bread on
bread.
the planet. So she asks me, she tells me how to do it. I don't do bread, okay? Listen, I need to learn how to make the bread before I get married. She needs to teach me.
It's not hard.
So anyway, I'm making these little, and I make I make rolls out of them, and I'm really proud of myself, and it's perfect, and it goes in the oven, and the rolls come out, and then she comes in and she says, oh, you gotta go do this pet visit. Leah and I are pet sitters for a living. That's what we do. And so I rush out the door, but before I'm doing so, she's outside planting peanuts, and I said, I've got the cinnamon rolls that I roll it out, and I put the cinnamon stuff, and then roll it, and then I snipped it in pieces and put it in a nice thing. And I said, don't forget that. She said, no, I won't. I said it to her 8 times. I said, you do not forget those cinnamon rolls. But I knew better. In my gut, I just knew that. I
knew too.
And she knew, and she didn't admit it. She could have just said, Michelle, I can't do that. I will not be able to remember it. But no. So I come home.
You should go show him. Just go show him. I'm really upset about it. It was really sad. But you know what? I used a little bit of white flour because I was making them for somebody else, and it's kind of hard to.
No, it wasn't just for somebody else. You made the dough, but I.
Is that awful? It's awful.
These are cinnamon rolls. This is a travesty. This is awful.
It is awful.
And it's all your fault. What have you got for the people? What do you want to sing?
I don't know. I'm not sure what's coming up. It's nothing's clicking for me right now.
Okay, you know what somebody asked for the other day and you said you couldn't find the capo.
Don't have it right now.
Can't we sing it without the capo?
No.
Why not?
I can't play without the capo.
Why can't you play without the capo? We can just drop it down.
No, you can't. You can't. It's
yes, we can.
No, you can't.
They're all just sticking with us. Throw some icing on it. It would be great. Sure.
Matt
it is
will
a
eat
wee
it.
bit overcooked there. A cooking show. See, I had thought about Cosby pudding. I thought about making jam with you guys earlier. You guys need one of those timers. Yeah. And you know what? There's a timer on the refrigerator. You
one.
could have clipped it to your shorts, taken it
Mom bought
outside.
another one. Mom bought one because
Oh my gosh.
yeah, I
this
have
is
a
awful.
I have an HDMI cable right down here.
You guys don't even know what we
A
go
lot of
through. We
cables
have
around here.
lights, we have cables everywhere. Things are gonna go down bad. One day
We're gonna
it is
get
all
a
gonna
setup where
come
it just kind of
crashing.
Like, all stays in one spot.
Yeah, well, yeah. One day. You never know. Is that tuned?
Well, no, it is tuned, but my roomage here.
You got
is
room.
Just, I'm
You know
gonna
what?
hit it-
You're not
I'm
gonna hit it.
the
Don't-
thing,
don't.
But my arm is gonna hit this.
You want me to move the computer?
Maybe.
I'll have to unplug the HDMI cord in order to do it. though.
Yeah.
Oh, no, wait. No, I won't. There.
There
How's
we go.
that? Is that better?
I'm a loud guitar player and I need lots of space, so this is really not like I need to like run around the room or something. I feel the sun shining on my skin. I wanna let the warmth come in. I want the world to know your love. Your ever unchanging love. Your ever unchanging love. Every single time I'm getting down on my knees, I get this soaring feeling like I'm on a flying trapeze. It's the greatest sensation you could ever feel. Just let's see. Sorry, I haven't played this in a lot. Just know this.
The other day she practiced the song before she
No,
sang
I
it.
didn't.
No, the other song.
Just know that
There
my
it is.
God is truly real. Yes, I know that my God is truly real. Yeah, 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 yeah. I know that my God is real because I know that I feel His love and presence surrounding me and washing me in perfect peace. Oh Lord, you're washing me in perfect peace. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. I feel the sun shining on my skin. I wanna let the warmth come in. I want the world to know your love. Your ever unchanging love. Your ever unchanging love. Every single time I'm getting down on my knees, I get this soaring feeling like I'm on a flying trapeze. It's the greatest sensation you could ever feel. Just know that my God is truly real. Yes, I know that my God is truly real. Yeah, 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 yeah. Na 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 yeah yeah yeah. Na 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 yeah 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 yeah. Na 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 yeah 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 yeah. Just know that my God is truly real. Yes, I know that my God is truly real. Yeah 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 yeah. I know that my God is real because I know that I feel your love and presence surrounding me and in perfect peace. Oh,
Yay! You can't clap for yourself.
Yay!
What are you, Donald Trump? Y'all notice that Donald Trump claps for himself all the
Wait.
stinking time.
Hey, you guys. It's you.
It's you.
And you.
And you.
You.
Yep, you. That's what Donald does.
And even when people boo, he finds the people that clap and he says,
yes.
you. So anybody booing, I'm going to, clapping.
Yeah, you're clapping.
You.
Thank you all for sticking with us this long and for enjoying the music. Thank you for going and getting the guitar, Leah. Okay, so
It's been a while. Sorry, I wasn't getting it right. It's been a while since I even sang.
I promise that next week I will play. I will cut my fingernails.
Well, why don't we could do one where you play the piano and you can keep your fingernails. We just had to set it up. Because Michelle and I have some duets where she plays the piano.
Yes.
And because you guys seem so interested.
You know what? If they don't like it, they can log off. Right?
Yep.
No thing.
Ain't no thing.
All right, you guys. We should go ahead and sign off.
Good night,
here.
everybody. It was nice hanging with you.
We really like it when you come and join our house and our mom is inside talking on the phone and then Michelle yells at her.
You could have rhymed. You could have rhymed something.
But I had more I wanted to say than just a rhyme. I had a lot to say. I keep that bottled up. Freestyle. Go ahead.
Like and comment and subscribe to Masfaith3 and Resistance Chicks.
We want
Find
you
us
to
on
ring
Facebook.
that bell for notifications and you know that God
Don't
loves
let
you.
your kids get any vaccinations. Just knowing that the CDC doesn't care about you, no. The CDC doesn't care about you, no, 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 no. And they don't care about your kids. They just want to get that needle in. Sorry, I don't know what vaccinations.
No,
You just have an
seriously,
anti-vaccination song going on there.
Okay.
Goodbye,
You could have
everyone.
rhymed like I burned my food. Now I gotta go because I'm not in the mood. Thank you, Michael. That was good. All right, so we go live every Friday at 6 o'clock. It's
If
supposed to
you-
only be for an hour.
If you had done only an hour, it would have made breaking these up a lot easier because when you break them down, it's really hard. It's hard to break down a 2-hour one.
Sorry, I can't help it.
The last one didn't get
like
broken
you're
t-
blaming me because we went long.
Of course, it's your fault.
Oh my gosh! Do you have any other songs you want to play for the people?
No, we're
You said
signing
play another
off.
song.
Oh, that's sweet of you. We'll do it again another
Yes,
time.
we always end with the song "Yes, Mother Dear."
Did you tell me you're on Alex Jones?
Oh!
Oh, but I thought we were gonna do a whole segment on that.
Yes, we have. Yeah, but
You're gonna.
no, I'm just gonna put the guitar down
But are you gonna play it? You want to do it twice? You want to show it for the people now?
and then record it to put it up so we don't have to break it off.
Well, okay. So just don't play the whole segment. We'll play the whole segment when we do.
You saw our little teaser where Michelle said he speaks the truth, swallow it. We're on there for like 2 minutes.
That's
We
not
were on
that
the
long.
nightly news.
It's not that long.
The nightly news on Alex Jones. My mom, she was in her bedroom, right?
She calls
She
me
calls
on my
us.
cell phone.
And Michelle
in the
jumps out
living
of her
room.
chair. She's like, "We're on Alex Jones right now. We're on Alex Jones right now."
Okay.
It was kind of cool.
All right.
was a little-
Let's see.
A little bit of a fan craziness there, probably.
We have had, and what's so funny is that Millie linked or put a screenshot up. Alex is live right now of our Resistance Chicks channel. So we are now having an influx of subscribers on
A
Resistance
few.
Chicks.
A few.
So that's really exciting.
A couple
to see
people
that
said
take
I
off.
found you via Alex Jones.
Yeah, we had several. I know, but it's on. It was on the nightly news, but then Millie went and took it and put it as her own. Like I said, we will play the whole thing in its entirety. Wait, were we earlier on, Mom?
Yeah, I
At
kind
the
of
was like
beginning?
minute
No, no,
7.
no.
7? That's
July.
what I thought.
I'm lying once again. I grew up in the communist
And this is
country
our friend Maria
where
that we
my
met
grandfather could do
while we were
whatever
at
he
the
wanted
Red
on his
Pill
land. There was no
Expo.
permitting. No one came to check on what he did. He had full autonomy to build his villa, to build his infrastructure to build his grapes and fruit and produce, and no one bothered us or any of our neighbors in a communist country. So if we can't do that in America, I don't know what we label it as, but it's not the land of the free anymore.
So what country were you from?
Eastern Europe, Bulgaria.
I actually don't like
until
watching
12.
myself on
There
television.
are so many people that are
So,
have
it's
been
really hard.
awoke or awakened, however you
I
want to say it,
hated this
to
answer, and
mainly
then
for
she
me, public
used
public
it.
education and the corruption that's there. Our
Well,
country
it was
is not
about
going to change so long as the generation that is
young people.
behind us comes
Young
up and they're
people.
completely brainwashed. And so the fact that other people are have been made aware to that, it's blowing my mind. I just feel you feel like you're stuck in a box and you're the only one that knows these things.
What do you guys think about
Okay, so
some of
then
the local media
we're gonna skip
claiming
these
that
kids.
this is an alt-right white
So Leah and I have. Wait a minute. So then I asked her if I could plug Resistance Chicks, and she said yeah.
Jealous they're not here.
So Leah and I have a channel. We call ourselves Resistance Chicks because Alex Jones is always saying that you guys are the Resistance.
My hair is
So we
messed
call
up.
ourselves the Resistance Chicks. The Antifa has seemed to steal that, but it's not theirs. It's Alex's. He coined it, and we're just kind of coming along with it. So thank you, Alex. Thank you, Millie. Thank you, everybody at InfoWars for doing what you're doing. If it wasn't for InfoWars,
I mean, half the stuff that we know, we wouldn't know.
no.
Like, everybody gets their information
story.
from InfoWars, whether they want to believe
Admit it or not. And you know what? They're waking up and they have to admit it. Guess what? Alex said all of this stuff first. You heard
Alex
it here.
said it first. I always say, Alex comes out with something, and then 2 weeks later, it's on the mainstream media. It's in the news. But it's always first, like, Alex will say something, I'll be like, I gotta Google that. It's not Googleable. And so I'm like, is that true? 2 weeks later, it's true. Like,
We have a lot
hands
of our-
down, every time.
We've got a lot of our viewers that are converted Alex fans now because they come into it skeptical and we're like, dude, the dude speaks the truth. So, we will play her Millie's entire thing. We'll do a whole segment on it because not everybody watches our live feeds because they get really long, obviously. So to do a whole segment on that, her entire segment was really good.
Truth.
Here's the thing, guys. I had that answer. Leah's answer was amazing. They didn't play that because it wasn't pertinent to the video that she was doing. And Maria's answer was phenomenal. And then I came in kind of on the sidelines and my answer for the question, which was what was the most mind-blowing thing that happened. And I wasn't happy with that answer at all, but it fit for her video here. So in my mind I'm thinking, when all else fails, just plug InfoWars. So I don't want you guys to watch that and think, oh, Leah and Michelle were just doing that to get on camera. Here's the thing. It really is true. Whether you watch it, I think a lot of people judge Alex without watching InfoWars.
Right.
Whether you like him or not, he is always 2 weeks ahead on things than everybody else.
Right.
And you do question it. Is that true? Could that be possible? And then, like Leah said, you Google it and then it turns out 2 weeks later,
Super
it really is
vitality.
true. So whether you like Alex Jones or not, you really can get your news from Alex Jones. Except for, okay, so somebody had commented, one of our friends on our Facebook page
you
is
don't
like,
need to go into the
no,
Mars
Robert
children.
David Steele was on Alex Jones, and he kind of said that there's
a colony of prostitute children on Mars.
Yeah. Now, the mainstream media took that and twisted it and said, because
Alex
this was what
Jones
our friend
said
came
it.
back and she's like, Alex Jones believes that there are, these aliens on Mars.
Don't knock yourselves for big enough on InfoWars.
And I was like, okay, Alex actually had to do
retraction type.
not really a retraction, but he came on later and he's like, I don't believe that.
Right.
No, it's when you have somebody that's a professional in their field, sometimes they can get a little nutty on other things, and you don't know what's going to fly out of people's mouth on live television. That's what we love about Alex, is that it's not edited. CNN is edited and cut, where Alex just like, listen, my guest just said that, and okay, well, we don't really believe that, but we like everything else you're saying, that sort of thing. So it's just another example of the mainstream media twisting things, because even our very dear friend was like, oh, Alex believes that. Well, where did you read that? He actually came out and said, no, I don't. All right.
We'll have to cover Sweden another
like
time.
with everything else, though, you've got to take Alex with a grain of salt. You know what I mean? When I say that, I mean, it's not like we're promoting him as a person, even though I think he's kind of a cool guy.
I like him a
Sometimes he
lot.
says stuff that I'm kind of like, But as far as facts, you can definitely
with
take the stuff
InfoWars
that
and
they
the
say
people
at InfoWars.
and the people there and the young people there, if there was like a group that we aligned with or could hang with or be
Right.
with. It's those people. Like out of any other people I've seen on YouTube or on like I've talked with Millie and I you know Owen's you know I haven't talked to Owen, but you can just tell I align ideologically with these people more than anybody
Right.
else. So
Well, like with anything else, when you get big, and Alex is humongous, whether the mainstream media wants to admit it or not, it kind of does corrupt just a little. And so that's why you kind of want to stay humble and you want to stay small. Because I've had conversations with Will Way of Cypher News. I can plug his channel while he's here, one of our moderators, about how Alex is kind of just power puffs up. And it's kind of even David and Solomon, they in the Bible, if you don't know what I'm talking about.
I think he stays pretty humble. If he talks too much about himself, Mom just turns him off for a while.
I laugh at him, like with him. I think he's hilarious. So, that's it. That's the end. We were on InfoWars.
Jesus.
Yes.
Right. Exactly.
Absolutely.
Alex has all of his documentaries in front of him, and he shows it. His desk is loaded with it.
Yeah. Very true. Okay, so I think that should be the end.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to sign off. This is Leah Michelle
wish
for
we could
Resistance
keep the
Chicks,
chat.
where it is not a conspiracy theory if it's the truth. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Masfaith3 and Resistance Chicks. Ring the bell for notifications. Find us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter. We love you. God loves you. God bless. And like Leah said, I wish we could keep the chats. It just vanishes after this is over.
But you guys are awesome.
All of the words are just gone. You guys are awesome. All right, we love you guys. God bless. Good night, and thanks for staying up with us this late in the
And remember,
UK
you are the
and around world.
resistance.
Okay, Alex, thank you. Oh, Will said that. Yes.
Enjoy your pizza. Later.